What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Our Shared Experience. Today, I'm jumping on an interesting business slash personal growth kind of statement. And I was on the phone the other day, and I was talking to a business partner, and I was just kind of rambling off about things that are happening, and I stumbled upon this statement coming out of my mouth, which was, "It is about what you do with what you've done." And I want you to think about that for a second, because I feel like maybe it's a very American statement, right? This idea of talking about past accolades and celebrating our successes, and really leaning into our accomplishments. But regardless of whether it's American or it's an international shared experience, I think what it is something that more people need to actually process and think about in growing their own personal brand and learning from past experiences, right? So it's about what you do with what you've done. And why did I say it? Well, I was talking about all these past projects that I've worked on, all these whether it's TV shows or it's the films that I've done or the tours or winning best trick and third place at the Red Bull Art of Motion. And I realized that there's something that a lot of people don't do, which is utilize the things that they've achieved in a way to garner more attention or celebration or growth. And to be more specific, I guess, one of the examples I can use is, many people have podiumed, they've won Red Bull Art of Motion, they've continued to come back and podium again or place well, and that's it, that's the extent of it. When Corey DeMeyers and I started our From Here to There tour, we went to all these events, and this was another opportunity where we were like, all right, we're gonna go travel, we're gonna go meet and train all around the world with all these different people and athletes that we love and we've become friends with online. So why don't we do something more with it, right? There's always an opportunity to take what you have and push it to the next level if you're willing to do the work. So we decided to shoot it. We were like, all right, we'll shoot. I think at the time we believed it would be like a series. And we started shooting, filming, we started traveling, went to Seattle and we both won this team battle competition, and I won a speed competition. And then we ended up going to Italy to the Crap Invaders and all these different events, and we're filming it, and we're getting all this incredible content about the community and what freerunning and parkour looks like in a time capsule of that summer. And we continued to shoot, and then I went to Air Whip. I took third place, which got me qualified for Art of Motion. Corey won the video submission, so now he was competing in Art of Motion, and it ended up with us both on the podium of the largest competition in our sport. So it could have ended there. We could have just let this series come out or told this story in some minimal way, but we recognized that there was an opportunity to use what we've accomplished to help not only grow our own personal brands and market our achievements, but to grow this sport as a whole and get more people interested in doing this thing that we absolutely love. So what we did was we made a film. We made a film called From Here to There, and it was our journey from kind of being these amateur athletes into going pro and then ending up on the podium of the biggest competition in our sport. And it's an incredible journey. And you're like, cool, that's awesome. You guys made a film out of your winnings, and that's really nice. But we didn't stop there. The coolest part was that we were like, all right, now we have this incredible film. And again, we didn't just go home and edit this film ourselves. We hired the editor of Waiting for Lightning, the Danny Way documentary, one of our favorite skateboarding documentaries that was out at the time, and we worked with her and a team to build this incredible film, something that we were very proud of. So then we were like, this is becoming something awesome. Let's do more with it. What do we do? Well, let's do a world tour, a four-walling tour. What is four-walling? Well, four-walling is when a movie releases and you go and tour it in theaters. And the goal is that you pack out these small theaters to all four walls, and you do Q&As, and you're building hype, and it's not like this full theatrical release, but it's this very personal, like, building of energy around the film so that you can get it distribution around the world. And so we did that, and we actually created a Kickstarter and filmed this whole Kickstarter campaign and raised about $80,000, I think, to do this thing. And the goal there was then like, all right, let's go on this tour. And to be honest with you, it didn't work out so well. There was a lot of cities we didn't get to go to, but we ended up condensing it and still going to, I think it was 12 countries, and then came back to the US and did 15 cities, 15 states in about 30 days, which was insane. But then it didn't stop there, right? So then now we're four-walling this thing. Well, let's shoot some more. So we ended up shooting 2 seasons of a show that we released online, which is now getting put on TV, on Pluto TV for the People Are Awesome channel, and that's called Off the Edge. So season 1 of Off the Edge is all international cities, and season 2 is all of the US. So now you have this, like, this summer that turned into a film, that turned into a whole nother tour, that turned into 2 seasons of a television show that is now on TV. And then all of that experience that I've learned and come from, I then turned into another US tour that we did 22 events and on 63 days with a bigger tour bus, wrapped with me on the side of it, which I shot an additional film that I directed, edited, and produced. And then that has film distribution. So I know this is like a wild on and on example, but I want you guys to, like, take this concept and look at the things that you've already done. You know, again, I'm in my art studio, so I'm looking around these paintings. I'm looking at the opportunities that I'm missing out on to tell a bigger story about each one of these pieces, my accomplishments, the things that I'm proud of, the stories that are wrapped around why I created these. So I don't know, I'm getting some really interesting ideas right now about how I could do almost this exact thing, where I break down a piece of art and talk about why I did it and where I got the ideas from and materials, and show you some of the processes that I've documented throughout the creation of all this stuff. But it's not just about, like, a thing. Like, it could be past stuff. So if you guys aren't aware, I'm on TikTok. I jumped on when it was Musical.ly. I now have 1.6 million followers on that. And one of the coolest things that I did was, instead of sitting there stressing about creating all new media, I'm constantly able to dip back into old things I've done, whether it was a behind-the-scenes clip that I've never posted on Instagram because, you know, it's me jumping off a roof into a mat or something like that. And my hardcore parkour fans don't really want to see, like, mats and things like that. So I dumped it on TikTok. And next thing you know, that gets 300,000 views. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. Maybe I'll put some other old stunt stuff up. Next thing you know, I put a little compilation or a clip together, and it's got 30 million views. And then now you're building all this hype around your accomplishments. So then I'm like, you know what? All these fans that I've just acquired, they don't necessarily know my past accomplishments. You can't ever assume that people know your story. And so then I recently just put up a clip of me getting the fastest time in the American Ninja Warrior qualifying course. And so many people are like, oh my God, I thought I recognized you. I didn't realize you were on Ninja Warrior. I saw that clip. So now you have all these fans that are connecting you with, like, oh my God, I saw you on Hawaii Five-0. Oh, I saw you on Ninja Warrior. You're building not just this, like, understanding of your accomplishments for this person, but you're actually giving them this, like, through line, this timeline of a story that they had already known you from. So now you're building a history with an audience that you thought you had just brought on, but now they're, like, feel even more in line with you, and they're more associated with, like, who you are and what you've done, because they've actually seen more than they thought they had. So I think there's something interesting about, like, just looking to our past and seeing, hey, what have I done? You know, and again, for those guys that aren't in the US, this might be a very foreign thing for you to consider, but like, talk about your accomplishments. Be proud of what you've achieved and bring it back up, because so much of the cool stuff that you've done, and I'm thinking about people like Giles, who's an incredible filmmaker, who's done some incredible things and tours and shot videos with athletes all around the world for the longest time. And I think about all the things that he probably has on hard drives that he could be sharing and bringing back up and getting more and more value out of, right? And I think that's the point of this is you are valuable. Your past, your history is valuable. I tend to talk about like not dwelling on past because it's not something that you can change, but you can certainly tell your story about the things that you've loved and the things that you've achieved. And I would love for you guys to do that. So if you're listening to this on any of the major podcast platforms, be sure to leave a review or a comment on YouTube and let me know, like, if you've put something up recently, link me to it. Let me check out some of the cool stuff you've done, because you're family now. We're all here together, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's been fun. Thank you for listening. And that's it. Peace out, everybody.